This video is not for whales and dolphins, it's for you, because you are just like me. Average Light Gamer here, and today I want to talk about the two new characters that we now have drip marketing for, which is Vivian as an Ether Anomaly agent, and Hugo Vlad, who is an Ice Attack agent. Something old, something new, is how I kind of feel about these two characters. So at least let's talk about it. They're both going to be part of the Mockingbird faction, and I think that one of them feels a little bit more interesting to me. I'm not going to lie, just from a basic perspective of Ice Attack is something that we've seen before, and not only is it something that we've seen before, but we also have other ice DPSs in the game. We'll talk more about Hugo in a moment, but I kind of want to talk about Vivian first because I think that she's more exciting and interesting. What I will say is that with the Anomaly drive disc set that looks like it's coming in 1.6, it kind of indicates that she is going to be an off-field or quick swap DPS in some way. So she could either be an off-field anomaly applier or quick swap DPS. I can't really see her being a fully on-field DPS from an anomaly perspective, kind of like Jane. I don't think that that's something that's going to happen, just because she benefits from other characters using the EX special, and that buffs her ether damage bonus. Now, this could mean that she's applying that ether from off-field, or it could mean that you're going to want to switch her back on to do some kind of attack, similar to Miyabi's Shimotsuki, where you want to bring her on, you want to Shimotsuki, and then you want to move her off so that you can quick swap to someone else. I think that that seems like the most likely way that Vivian's going to work, and I think that seems pretty cool. I think that means that she's probably going to work really well with a bunch of other anomaly agents. It means that she'll work well with an on-field hungry agent like Jane. It also means that she's going to work well with anomaly agents that want a bit of on-field time, like Yanagi and Miyabi, and she could, in theory, work well with someone like Bernice as well. So Bernice could then, in that situation, be the full off-field anomaly applier, and then Vivian would get more on-field time. But, you know, it remains to be seen as to how Vivian's going to work exactly, but just based on the information that we have from those anomaly drive disc set that was announced, that's the way that we think that she's going to work. It's a pretty safe assumption. There's a gosh darn umbrella on the drive discs, for goodness sake. So yeah, what I will say about her design and stuff is that when she was first introduced in the trailer for 1.6, there was a voiceover at that point that sounded kind of quite sultry, and then when we got the follow-up drip marketing for Vivian, it was then her voice was extremely soft.
If the ending could be rewritten.
People often mask their true intentions.
Kind of elegant and sophisticated in a way, but it definitely didn't match. There has been some hubbub as to whether or not potentially she is, you know, kind of got a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde situation going on, or potentially we've just misinterpreted what happened in that original trailer. Just think it might be interesting to bring up, because I actually do think if there is kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde situation and she, you know, has like a very dark side and a very light side, I think that that could be really interesting in terms of the story. I will also say in terms of her design, I think it's awesome. It's very cool. It's very different to everything that we have in Zenless Zone Zero so far. It's very sophisticated. She does look a little bit like she got lost on the way to Genshin, but I'll take it, seeing as Genshin also stole one of our characters with Shalonen. We good. Okay, just before we move on to talking about Hugo, this is your reminder that you probably aren't subscribed. Liking and subscribing really helps to support creators like me on YouTube. You can also drop me a follow over on Twitch. I stream twice a week, and I will be streaming this evening at the time that this video goes up. And you can also join the Discord, where I'll let you know about account reviews and all other kinds of fun stuff that we do as a community. Links in the description down below. Let's move on then, and let's start talking about Hugo. So Hugo is an ice attack character, and if it was Ellen Jova before, it's now Ellen dead. Ellen dead in water. Sorry, Ellen. It's done. And I say this a little bit as a joke. I'm pretty sure that Hugo is going to work quite differently to Ellen, I'm sure. Ellen is like a very on-field hungry agent, and she benefits a lot from being able to finish her combo string. And maybe Hugo's going to be different to that. Maybe he does big nukes. Maybe he's more quick swap so that he can, in fact, work with Vivian. So if Vivian is quick swap or an anomaly off-field applier, then in theory they could work together, because remember, they are part of the same Mockingbird agent faction. Their elements, though, don't really indicate that they're going to be a good match in terms of kind of matching up together, but that kind of remains to be seen as to whether or not they'll go down that route or not. in terms of like the history, we do seem to keep getting these characters that they're back-to-backing that are extremely good together. So we have Astra into Evelyn, and then we're going to have Anby 2 into Trigger. It wouldn't surprise me too much if Hugo and Vivian work extremely well together, but right now the elements don't seem to indicate that. However, that isn't to say that they won't. In fact, you know, because we know that Vivian is an off-field applier or a quick swap DPS in some way based on the drive this set, she's not going to be that on-field hungry. So if she has something built into her kit where she buffs, you know, her faction teammates, i.e. Hugo, or if she buffs Ether and Ice in some way, then we could see them working really, really well together. Obviously, that's not something that we've seen before from an Anomaly agent, but I'm just kind of spitballing with some ideas here that it wouldn't be too crazy to expect the two of them to be able to run together. But of course, we don't actually have to run them together, if that makes sense. We don't actually have to run them on the same teams. They might just be designed to work in completely different teams, and we are in a position now where we're going to start getting reruns. There was a lot of mentions of Jane in the 1.6 announcement stuff, so it wouldn't be too crazy if we started seeing a Jane rerun in 1.7, and that would probably work in line with Vivian being an off-field anomaly applier, for example. And that's just an example sake situation. Overall, I am glad that we've got something new, but Ice Attack certainly feels a little bit overdone at this point. It feels a little bit wasteful, I'm not gonna lie, when we could have had something a little bit more interesting, something that we haven't had before. But then again, you know, we did get Vivian, and that is new and exciting. Ether Anomaly is not something that we've had before, and that's going to be something that I think a lot of people are going to be interested in. At this early stage, I think it's way too early to tell whether or not these characters are worth pulling. I do think the Ether Anomaly stands out to me as being something that's more interesting as a player, but there might be some really interesting stuff in Hugo's kit that means that he might be very good in certain team situations. And I'm guessing as well that considering that we're getting another Ice Attack agent, this means that a lighter rerun might not be too far away. Anyway, we'll talk loads more about reruns on another video at another time. Lastly then, from a design perspective, I actually do think that Hugo has one of the cooler male designs in the game. And I think that the way that he kind of switches his scythe into a briefcase is super cool, and his history with Lycan might be really interesting in 1.6. So I could see a lot of players not feeling that excited about Hugo right now, but potentially getting more excited about him as we get closer to his release. But anyway, that's about enough talking out of me. So let me know, what do you guys think? We are getting these two new characters. They both look pretty cool. They both look pretty interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Appreciate all the support. Follow Twitch, join Discord, like and subscribe for better than average luck on all your pulls. Stay weird, pull responsibly. Bye, 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 bye.